Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Holly Pritchard, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Navy is Lieutenant Dylan Spivey. We warmly welcome Ms. Candice F. Stratu, ACT Regional Manager of Qantas Airways, and Croatian veterans Mr. Trojar and Mr. Maras, accompanied by the Consul General of the Republic of Croatia in Sydney, Mr. Ivica Glasnovic, the Consul of the Republic of Croatia in Perth, Mr. Zoran Zangut, and First Secretary at the Embassy of the Republic of Croatia in Canberra, Ms. Maria Haramia. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors to the memorial and students on behalf of Gympie South State School visiting from Southside, Queensland, and students on behalf of Chifley College Senior Campus visiting from Mount Druitt, New South Wales. If you are able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. Students, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths and floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Private Basil Penty. Basil Penty was born on the 10th of June 1894 in Stanley, Tasmania. He was one of 6 children born to Reverend Robert Penty and his wife Charlotte. Basil received his early education in Hobart before the family moved to Bondi in New South Wales. There he attended Sydney Grammar School and proved to be a capable student. As a young adult, he studied chemistry and volunteered with the local militia. When the First World War broke out in 1914, Penty was working as an analytical chemist for the Colonial Sugar Refining Company. Basil Penty enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force on the 11th of May 1915. He was assigned to the 6th Reinforcement of the 3rd Infantry Battalion with the rank of private. On the 16th of June, he embarked for active service and sailed from Sydney on the troop ship Corolla. Penty joined his unit on the Gallipoli Peninsula at the end of July 1915, in time for the beginning of the August offensives. He soon found himself in the thick of the fighting when his unit attacked enemy positions at Lone Pine. They went over the top on the 6th of August, but as they approached enemy trenches, which were covered by pine logs, some men tried to break through the pine logs, while others continued to the rear communication trenches in bitter hand-to-hand fighting. The main trench was taken within about 20 minutes. However, the fighting at Lone Pine continued for a further 4 days, during which 2,000 Australian casualties were sustained. Among the wounded was Private Penty, who suffered a gunshot wound through the chest. He was evacuated to hospital in Cairo for treatment and remained there until October 1915, when he returned to his unit on Gallipoli, where a stalemate set in once more. Penty and his comrades saw out the rest of the year in defensive duties before the peninsula was evacuated and the campaign was abandoned in December. After reorganising and training in Egypt, Penty and his comrades embarked for the Western Front. They reached the French city of Marseille on the 28th of March 1916, were immediately sent north to the border of France and Belgium. There, they alternated between periods of training and stints on the front line. In July, Penty's battalion fought at Pozières in the Somme Valley, where in late July, Penty's older brother, Robert, was killed in action while serving with another battalion. In December 1916, Penty was granted leave to England. During this trip, he was sent to hospital for treatment, and his leave was extended until after Christmas. He rejoined his comrades in the front lines around Fleur on the 31st of December in the midst of a freezing winter. The next day, Penty settled into his dugout in the reserve trenches for what was expected to be a quiet New Year's Day, 1917. As he was sleeping, the enemy began bombarding their location. A shell made a direct hit on Penty's dugout, killing him and one other man instantly. Penty's comrades buried him behind the lines near brigade headquarters. Today he lies at the Guard Cemetery, Le Boeuf, beneath the words chosen by his family. They read, "He died young, he lived a complete life." Basil Penty was 22 years old. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right. Among almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War, his photograph is displayed beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private Basil Penty, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. Lest we forget.
We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Poziere or in the low scrub at Gallipoli with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the Director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today. We wish you all a very pleasant evening.